Taurus 24/7 Pro stainless 4-inch barrel, 29 ounces unloaded. Safety check, nothing in the chamber here. No mag in place. Mags are empty. Standard Picatinny rail on here. Loaded chamber indicator on the side here. This will pop out a little bit if you have around in the chamber. You can feel that and see it. Standard on this model was the 2-dot Heinie straight 8 sights. And you can see right there. Safety lever. This is not the decocker version like on the 24/7 Pro DS models, which are going to be outdated soon as they go to the G2 models. There's your slide release, slide stop, whichever you want to call it. Takedown lever, magazine release. Nice squared trigger guard up front for good grip there. Got little memory pads, as they call them. For when you're holding it like this without your finger on the grip trigger, that's a nice little place to put your finger there. And it has it on both sides as well for lefties. Fits pretty nice. This was the optional ribber grip when it was first purchased. However, these ribs up top here, about the first quarter of them were already gone, and the rest of them about down to here were already ripping off. So I went ahead and took a razor blade and shaved it all nice and smooth, and quite honestly it feels better without them than it did with. However, the rubber texture of the grip itself does lend itself to a really nice feel there. As far as reliability, I've only put about 100 rounds through this, and it is not jammed at all. No failure to eject, no failure to feed, no failure to fire. With the Taurus Pros, the trigger is essentially a single action. However, if you come across a dead primer, it will go into a automatic double action mode, which I can show you here with some snap caps. This is again, unloaded magazines. Let's throw 2 in here just to demonstrate. Now, your first trigger pull is going to be, you have a lot of dead space in this. All that, nothing going on there. That's just dead pull. Now your first pull is going to be a single action. Right there. You reset. The second one, if you have a dead primer, will be a full length, probably better see with my left hand here, a full length double action pull. See? First shot single action, all this is dead space. There you go. Now the trigger on this, I would consider to be the first minus on this. Now I hadn't really looked at the Tauruses as closely as I should have to know that there's a difference between the old 24/7 Pros and the current 24/7 Pro DS. As it turns out, the new models have a decocker, which again here is the safety, which when you push up on there on the new models, you push up a little more, it decocks it. It'll have a little indicator here on the back, and it'll show you when you're cocked and when you're not. This is not. Therefore, this is strictly a single action pistol. Now this much touted second strike capability sounds great and all, but really, if you come across a dead primer or a bad round, you're better off doing a tap rack bang, which, if you're not familiar with it, so you're firing, you get a dead primer, right? Instead of doing this in an emergency situation, you're better off and go for your next round. Now, some people are really into that. I don't know. They say it's quicker to pull the trigger. Myself, I figure if this round's not going to work for the first time, it's probably not going to work the second time. That could be debated, but be that as it may, I just didn't like it myself. Also, I'm not really, the more I get to playing with it, the less I like all this slack in the trigger. I know the reset, supposedly, if you're on the single action mode, the reset's very short and it makes for a very quick trigger, but really I couldn't get used to it. I tried and it just didn't work for me. Now another minus against this, at least as far as I'm concerned, would be these Heinie straight 8 sights. You can see down there, see that nice little 1 dot? One in the rear, one in the front. And the idea behind this is it allows for quicker target acquisition. And when I first picked it up, I thought, wow, you know, it's a great concept, and yeah, if you go ahead and point it, yeah, you can get your target pretty quick compared to a 3-dot traditional sight. However, these sights apparently have a common issue with shooting low. And a lot of people say, oh, it's because of the trigger puller, got not used to it. No. It is consistently low. No matter who shoots it, how you shoot it, if you are aiming this supposedly on target, you're going to hit low. At 15 yards, I was shooting about, I'd say a good 4 to 6 inches low. A lot of times not even hitting the damn target. That's not acceptable to me. I mean, there's no vertical adjustment whatsoever on these. You can only go with windage left to right. And even then, it's kind of iffy. Don't like the sights. I know you can swap them out with other ones aftermarket. They have fire sights and Trigicon or Trigicon, the glowing sights. I don't know how you pronounce it, I'm sorry. But they're like 50 to 100 to 120, and I only put about 300 into this. So not really worth my time considering the fact that you still got to live with that trigger without a decocker on there. If you're going to use this for a defensive pistol, myself, I would prefer a double single, or at least the option to go to double, which is what the 24/7 Pro DS has. So that would be another knock against it as far as I'm concerned. Ergonomics on this pistol are wonderful. I love the grip on this gun. It is just so natural feeling, and again, this little indentation for your finger, for your thumb, here and here. Just the feel of it is great. The location of the controls, you don't have to shift. It's just right there. Everything is within reach. Slide stop here. It's not even a stretch. Just wonderful design as far as that goes. The mag release. It's easily accessible, but it's not in the way, and you're not going to accidentally trip this. Now this could be either considered a minus or a plus, depending on how you look at it. When I first got it, I'd consider it a minus. The takedown on this thing. If you know the trick, it's cool. If you don't know the trick, you'll hate it. And the trick, really simple. Standard takedown, lock and slide back, or to make sure it's empty. Now this is your little takedown lever right here on the side. This third one towards the front. Rotate that like so. Now here's the trick. Really simple. Take it like so. Just wiggle a few times. Make sure your slide's locked again. And it'll make that pin pop out. Now the problem with this, most people don't know about it, is if you're trying to get this pin out and you don't know the little trick to make that pop out, you're just going to lock it back, you're going to like this, you're going to try and dig your fingernails on the edge of this thing, trying to dig it out, you know. Some guys will try and use a shell casing, some guys will use screwdrivers and whatever, and just gouge up your finish. Not necessary. Just wiggle the slide a few times, take the tension off by locking the slide back again. See how it's popped out there? Got enough to grab a hold of? Just comes right out. Not hard at all. Take it. Slide off forward, pull the trigger, comes right off. Here's your regular spring assembly, it's all one piece. There's your barrel. There's your slide. Now when you put this back together, pay attention to which direction this end of the slide spring here. It's got a rounded end. That's the one that's going to go towards the outside. The flatter side is going to go against the back of the barrel here. If you put that on backwards, it could jam up. Put it on like so, back on your rails. Reinsert your pin. And it's usually easier to put it in facing down, then turn it up, and then click it in. And you're good to go. Another issue I have with this gun, at least this particular model, is the difference in magazines between the older and the newer ones. Now, supposedly, the original 24/7s all the way up to the current 24/7s, the magazines will fit. However, the problem I found, when I bought this used, I only had the original magazine. I bought another one, $32 I believe I paid for this little booger. And this is a current magazine. It's got the yellow follower on there, and it's a little slightly, just ever so slightly different follower design. Other than that, they look identical. However, the little catch here for the magazine release button, where a little peg pokes in there, is actually at a different height between the old and the new models. So I wound up having to file this, and file it, and file it, and file it, until finally we get to a point where I could actually poke it in there and it'll just easily click in there. It'd make a nice solid click. There's the original. Nice little solid loud click. There's the aftermarket, which it's factory Taurus, it's not a Met Gar or anything. When I first got it though, when you push it up in there, you get nothing. It'd get about right there. You'd have to smack it in there. And the first time I took it out shooting, after I mean it fed perfectly, not a single jam again, didn't matter what I put through there. However, after you shot the thing, you'd push that button in and you would have to take a screwdriver and pry that son of a bitch out to get it to pop, because it was so tightly wedged in there. So, just a heads up for all you, if you mixing generations to your Tauruses, the magazines do have slight differences, and you may have to kind of fit the magazine to your pistol. And overall, would I recommend this pistol to anybody? Well, yes and no. Yes, if we're talking about the current 24/7 Pro DS, and simply for the fact that it gives you the option of a double action trigger or a single action. I like versatility, I like having choices in the matter. This doesn't give you any choices. This is strictly a single action for all intents and purposes. That second strike double action thing, it's kind of to me is a little bit of a gimmick. It's not really a usable feature as far as I'm concerned and from a practical standpoint. But as far as reliability, again, I've never had a single jam with it. I've only put 100 rounds or so through it, but this is the used model. This is not a brand new one. But it's never jammed, and I've put anything from 115 grain full metal jacket all the way up to 147 grain Remington Golden Sabers, which have a really wide mouth on them, a long profile, and they don't feed well in a lot of guns, and it did not jam a single bit. So, pretty good as far as that. Accuracy, depends. The sights on these, at least on this particular model with these straight 8s, sucks. And it consistently sucks, in the sense that you have to compensate for the fact that it aims low. It's just weird, the way these things are set up. You can't really adjust for elevation. The dovetails on this thing, I mean, you can only go left or right, that's about it. And fortunately on the newer Tauruses, they have switched back to the 3-dot sights wisely. So, again, if we're talking about a newer generation 24/7 Pro, absolutely, these are good guns. For the money, very good. They're on par with all the other brands, if not better than some. But this particular older generation, I'm not especially a fan of. Now, I wound up getting a Ruger P-Series, and simply because of the fact that it's dimensionally similar to this. However, it does allow me not only an external hammer, for one thing, it's just kind of a personal preference myself, but also the fact that it's a double single, whereas this is more like a single double. Double single being your first shot, if you have it decocked, is double action, long pull, that is your safety, as opposed to a manual safety only, which is a single action like this. And then if you have an, oh crap, I didn't get a primer that works, then you got a double action. To me, at that point, it's too late. You missed your shot that you could have used to save your ass, and now you're out. So there's that. Real quick, I want to mention on here, as far as holsters, if it does not specifically mention the holster that you're looking for is fitted for a Taurus 24/7, you can use a few close alternatives. So I have here, I got an Uncle Mike's size 5 in the waistband holster, and it does fit pretty nicely in there. Covers up the back of the slide there against your skin, and there's some other different ones you can go for. The one holster that you can kind of jury rig as far as making it work, if you can't find a Taurus holster for it specifically made, because they just started making them apparently, they have the serpent holster for the Springfield XD, and it fits really nice, real secure, ain't gonna lose that. Right there where your finger's supposed to be. Anyways, for what it's worth, that's my 2 cents on that deal.